Project Self is very honored and privileged to invite Sri Rajiv Malhotra to grace the occasion and give the opening speech. Our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji says, quote, Rajiv ji deserves sincere appreciation for glorifying our priceless heritage and clearing the misinterpretation about it. Unquote. Rajiv Malhotra ji is an internationally known researcher, writer, speaker, and public intellectual on current affairs as they relate to civilizations, cross-cultural encounters, religion, and science. He studied physics and computer science and served in multiple careers, including software development executive, Fortune 100 senior corporate executive, strategic consultant, and successful entrepreneur in the information technology and media industries. At the peak of his career, when he owned 20 companies in several countries, he took early retirement at age 44 to pursue philanthropy, research, and public service. He established Infinity Foundation for this purpose in 1994. Rajiv ji has conducted original research in a variety of fields and has influenced many other thinkers in India and the West. He has disrupted the mainstream thought process among academic and non-academic intellectuals alike by providing fresh, provocative position on Dharma and on India. Some of the focal points of his work are interpretation of Dharma for the current times, comparative religion, globalization, and India's contribution to the world. Rajiv ji's books, like The Battle of Sanskrit, Being Different, Indra's Net, Breaking India, etc., are highly appreciated and celebrated books of profound truths and revelations in Indology. Francis Clooney, Society of Jesus and Parkman Professor of Divinity, Harvard University, says the following on Rajiv ji's book, Being Different. Quote, being different is here a necessary virtue, essential to understanding our neighbors and ourselves. Much reflection and many a good argument should follow upon Malhotra's unique achievement. Unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to one of the most eminent personalities of the world for spreading and daring to defend and protect the profound truths of Vedic heritage and Indian heritage. Welcome, Sri Rajiv Malhotra ji.
Okay. I'm indeed honored to be invited here. I have a short time allocated to give you a brief introduction to the subject Dharma and wellness, which is actually such a large subject that it's going to take you your whole day. In a few minutes, I'm not going to talk to you about things like that because you'll hear that during. I just want to focus a bit on 2 points about this issue of Dharma and wellness. You know, the first question to ask is whose wellness? Whose wellness? And then you have the different levels of being, which are the koshas, which were described briefly. And so there is wellness at every level. The Western medicine looks at, your physical body and do a lot of diagnostics, and that's wonderful. A lot of great achievements have been made. And then mental health professionals, which are in their own domain, they are looking at another level. Psychologists looking at emotional health and things like that. Now, I have a feeling that one of the most distinct contributions our culture brings to this model of wellness is the level of pran. Because pran is not understood. Pran does not fit and does not belong in the Western science framework. So it is incorrectly translated as breathing or as some kind of energy. as if it's like electricity or something, that's pran. So if it were electricity, then mechanical devices would be channeling pran, and your electric utility would also be putting a pran meter in your house, how much pran you're buying, and they'd be selling you pran and all of that stuff. But it's not so mechanical. Nor is it breathing, although it's correlated with breathing. It's not breathing, it's correlated with breathing, you see. So the idea of how things can be, an entity can be a wide spectrum, at a wide spectrum, from physical to less physical to more subtle to more subtle to more subtle, and they are all interconnected, so by intervening one of them you can affect the rest. So by intervening breathing you can affect the pran. But that doesn't mean that pran is nothing but collapsed as breathing, which is what often is mistranslated. So this is a non-translatable. Pran is a non-translatable. You should just call it pran and not introduce it as anything else. You don't need to apologize if people don't understand. It's not your fault. It's their limitation, and they have to understand. So this science of pran, I think, is a very high potential area of research. What is it? How do you evaluate it? How do you measure it? We haven't rediscovered what the rishis have discovered, and this is the one common thing you'll find in Tantra, you'll find in Raj Yoga, you'll find in everything. Patanjali, all the different systems. The idea of pran is there very explicitly or implicitly, it's there. Now, as you get more and more subtle in the level of being that you are thinking about in terms of wellness, as you get more and more subtle, from physical down to more subtle, it's less and less understandable by physics, because you're dealing with levels of existence which are subtler than matter as physics determines, physics decides, physics explains. It becomes inconceivable in some ways. And you have strange phenomena like non-locality, non-local causation. These are ideas in quantum physics, where things seem to be weird and defy the laws that we intuitively expect, the world to function, and physics expects the world to function in a certain way. And it is at that level that you can understand, that you can begin to try and make sense of things like how a guru has done Shaktipat on someone. What is Shaktipat? It is not transmission of atoms and molecules and energy in a physical sense, but something has happened and transforms another person. How Jyotish works. These are not independent and irrelevant in the idea of wellness when you try to understand wellness at a very deep level. And also at this very deep level there is interconnectivity. The interconnectivity of people with each other, interconnectivity of living beings with each other. So you may think of a term, pranic internet, a kind of a pranic internet. At a certain level of existence, there is interconnectivity and influence that things have, which defy the laws of physics. Because according to physics, it could not happen so far away, or it could not have happened with walls coming in between. And when we talk about, the practices we are given to avoid certain practices, we're told that a container, a vessel, a utensil, which has been contaminated in a certain way, is not used for sattvic cleaning. Now you can wash it, you can put chemicals, you can do all the stuff, and you can put it into tests and find that there is no atom, not a single atom or molecule of the contaminant in it. But a good sadhu, a good rishi, a good yogi will say, I do not want to use that. There's a certain vibrational contamination. So this idea of vibrational contamination is beyond what physics has discovered. So I'm more interested in that level of what I call submatter physics, submatter reality. That's my area of research. Now this is becoming fashionable also. I would urge a couple of things. Keep the vocabulary intact. The vocabulary of our tradition, do not translate those words. The koshas, just use those words. Let others have to come and learn what they mean. Don't say, I'll make it simple for you. Just say, that's what it is. You may have to practice. You may have need sadhana. We will help you. But that's what it is, and there's nothing equivalent in the Western model, so it is non-translatable. Do that, and focus on sadhana aspect. It's not just clinical, it is not just material, it is not just something you can feel better, get health problems solved, and so on. The mantra aspect and the whole sadhana aspect is exceedingly important. Herb Benson at Harvard, who learned transcendental meditation, did some experiments on its effects, medical effects. Famous guy at Harvard. Now he's 90s, maybe. I think he's still alive or not, I don't know, but he's in his 90s. Then he came up, he said, I can produce the same effect, but he changed the vocabulary. He called it the relaxation response. The relaxation response. And he said, remove the mantra and put another word. He had his own kind of similar word, similar vibrational word he put in. So he tried one thing at a time to remove the whole Vedic link. And then, while his first few papers were co-authored by transcendental meditation researchers, co-authored with them, which are 71 onwards, few papers, which I have copies of. After that, he denied having anything to do with it, because it would be good for his practice to show that it's his original research, original discovery. So I can give you many such examples where our tradition gets digested. And it is not for the betterment of humanity, because a tree, you enjoy its fruits, but you should not cut off the roots. If a fool will think that he has enough harvest, this tree has given so much harvest, we don't need anything else. So we pluck the fruits and run. But a wise man knows that if I nurture the roots, I'll get more harvests. So keep that in mind. Your wellness program must nurture the Vedic roots. And you must then go back, encourage future harvests. The knowledge we have today of this wellness science from our tradition is not final. You can develop more using that framework, using the basic concepts, the foundation. You can develop more knowledge, which is also Vedic, and that's what you should do. So that means take Western empirical medical science, digest that into the Vedic rather than the other way around. Take the knowledge from the new equipment, the MRIs, all of these things, what they are discovering, what the whole new science of, glucose and whatnot, and the cardiac system, and all the different physiologies, what they're telling us, and put it back into our framework. You enrich our framework. This framework has a lot of potential. It should not be considered just tradition and for chauvinism and for nostalgia and for identity. That is not true. It is actually a scientific framework, and you are the guys who are going to take it forward. Thank you very much for listening.
Rajiv ji, thank you so much for giving us the valuable insights of enjoying the fruits of Vedic truths without cutting the Vedic roots. How proud we are of this heritage with us. And on behalf of Project Self, we would like to present to Rajiv ji a token of our respect and appreciation for his grace and presence.
Thank you so much.
This is the symbol of the first yogi, and it goes to Rajiv ji for his blessings.
Oh, wow. Very nice.